Okay, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I'm going to be discussing crime and punishment in Shit Hits the Fan. See, it's going to be a lot different when shit hits the fan, and it's going to be a lot more brutal. I mean, you're going to see us return back to medieval or Taliban-style punishments. Because, I mean, there's going to be floggings, there's going to be beatings, there's going to be walks of shame, and public humiliation, things like that. And, of course, and yes, there will be the death sentence. And it will be handed out for crimes other than murder. That's not something Western civilization has become accustomed to. Because, I mean, it's like, for seemingly offenses that are seemingly small now will be much greater when shit hits the fan. I mean, stealing firewood, not a big deal today. But if you steal firewood during shit hits the fan, you could potentially kill an entire family. If you steal somebody's food, you could be condemning them to death. And it's like crime will have to be dealt with in those ways. It may seem barbaric, un-American, but what would be the other options? I mean, you don't have the resources to put people in prison or jail or anything like that. You know, so the punishments are going to have to be stuff that the Eighth Amendment does not, for example, does not allow. And it's going to be a lot harsher. It's like, look at the siege of Leningrad. The Soviets, within the besieged city, they made any crime involving a ration card a capital offense, and they regularly shot people for stuff relating to a ration card. And they had to. It was just the way it had to be, because food was scarce in the approximately 900-day siege. It just wasn't always there, and food was precious. There wasn't a lot of it. And just remember, gold doesn't taste very good. So you're better off not bothering to stock up on gold, okay? In any case, you know, as far as crime and punishment goes, it's like, obviously there's going to be somebody that makes the rules. Contrary to popular belief, shit hits the fan is going to have rules. Humans will always, a state of total anarchy cannot exist. There will always be some kind of authority, and there will always be somebody making rules. So if you have oppositional defiant disorder, I suggest you get used to the idea of authority, because it's always going to be there, and the zombie apocalypse or an EMP is not going to change that, okay? That's one of the things that won't change. There will always be authority. There will always be somebody making the rules. And who is making those rules will be up to question. It may change, but there will always be somebody in charge, before long at least. There may be a power vacuum, but that vacuum, that void, will eventually get filled. It's just the way it works. And humans are not meant to live, and don't even think about trying to make it on your own, because humans are not meant to do that. Like, for example, if you take a badger, a naked human, and drop with no tools, and drop them off in the middle of the woods, in a very short time, the badger will be thriving, and the human will be dead. It's just that simple. And, you know, there have been a few cases where people have survived on their own, but those are pretty rare. And they're always reliant on tools and that were made by others, and often training that was given to them by others. And that's just the way the world works. And I'm just trying to keep things honest, and just trying to give you all a dose of reality. I mean, it's like, and by the way, I don't recommend Sharia law-style amputations or disability or things like that. I mean, if you feel a crime is serious enough to warrant that kind of punishment, just kill them, because there's really not a reason to keep a disabled criminal around. Unless they're Merle Dixon or something. But it's like you don't want to, because that person is now pretty much a liability that you'll have to care for a very long time. And that's just it. And I am just trying to deal with all of this stuff. I'm trying to uncover everything. Like, in The Walking Dead, it's not really realistic because it's like people that, you know, threaten the group and all that stuff, they don't get the shit kicked out of them. Like Carl whenever he'd run off, or, oh God, what was that other guy's name? I can't remember, but the guy who was Sasha's boyfriend, he risked the life of the group to get some beer or some liquor, and you know, that would warrant quite an ass kicking. And see, that's not, I mean, look at like books like 1 Second After. I mean, the death penalty was handed down left and right, and it had to be like that because, you know, stealing firewood or, you know, some food could again kill somebody. And because food was scarce, as was firewood, and it got pretty cold where they were at in a town called Black Mountain. And that's just the way it's going to be. So get used to some pretty ugly the idea of pretty ugly punishments being handed down, and there will be no Eighth Amendment around anymore. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. Like, comment, share, and subscribe. Peace.